Oh hey, I didn't know you were going to be up here alongside with me pod watching. Aren't they so static? Hello people, this is Ryder here with an end of the year update video. So typically, obviously, I wouldn't use a green screen. I've had this up for a month because of another thing. And it's also because the table doesn't fit. It's always been a tradition for me to just bring out a table and just sit down and talk. However, the table I've used for the last two, as you guys know, I broke it and it finally got thrown out. So that kind of inconvenienced me. Yes, I could arrange more things to get the table to fit, but it's just like, I guess I'm making my job harder. So obviously, what we're here to do today is just, again, just updating you guys on what's going to be upcoming for 2024, and just recapping the latter half of 2023, because luckily, we already did the first half earlier. So let's talk about the main channel and recap what I did then. So July, we covered Geats. Geats, thankfully, was painless. Geats did not have much to cover, luckily. So it was a breeze just to record both the demo and reviews for. It was very splintful. August, we did Revice again, and I'm wearing the Revice shirt. My bad. But, yeah, Revice was kind of the opposite. I kind of knew this going in and such, that Revice was going to be a lot more intensive, just due to how many things are there to cover for Revice. And the sucky part of the Revice 2, which I did allude to, but I didn't fully bring it up because I didn't want it to hamper the actual videos, but I actually had a pen drive issue transferring the footage, which was heavily unfortunate because, like, it was unfortunate and then fortunate, because luckily I actually was able to recover 80% of that footage that I recorded at that time, because I think other videos that were potentially going to be lost were my Power Rangers ACG game, which we'll talk about later, or my Power Rangers ACG card game opening, and my Cosmic Fury Morpher, or like my Cosmic Morpher opening, even though that's still that has yet to be released yet. But basically, I almost lost my Power Rangers videos alongside my Revice videos too. I think the ones that, again, were affected were mostly, it was just the Veil Driver and the Destrian Driver unit. But luckily, we were able to recover the least, or like the most intensive stuff, because all I had to do was just re-record the intros for both? I think I had to re-record a middle section for the review, but I know for the demo, it was the first 20 minutes, and I was very thankful of that, because I did not want to re-record that entire thing again, because it was so stressful. Again, that's how I would describe Revice as a whole. Very time intensive, just because of the fact I have to grab all the Vice stamps, do basically every little thing that, like, someone would ask for, and then just, compile that in a video to, like, make sure that it's very concise and doesn't, like, feel redundant. Like, have the necessary redundancy, I guess. Like, because going through the Juga Driver, or like the Chimera Driver and Juga Driver demo, gee, like that, I can't believe that's the longest demo I've done now. And then that brings us to September, which obviously was a birthday month for me, so I decided to catch back up on a few videos. It was basically a rest month, as I'll call it, and such. However, we did have a significant video. Was it one or two? I think it was one. Yeah, Photocard Supersonic, or Perfect Photocard Supersonic. As alluded by the title, this was supposed to be a 2022 release. It was supposed to actually come out before Artificial Falsification, but then I decided against it and held it back because, again, I wasn't too confident with whether or not it was actually... Look, I knew I had to put it out eventually, but it was just like, I didn't know just how to exactly, like, just put it together, because it was vaguely put together, like, a year ago, but then, like, I didn't really touch on it since, and I did, like, I did the two that were that came after it, so, yeah. And then, to my surprise, I did a video that was basically a sequel to my, well, whatever it was called, like my photocard slaving video. And because I got a binder, like, I think like earlier that month, I decided to do a continuation of that video. And I'm surprised about it because of the fact that one actually received more views. I don't know how, because like I knew the first one didn't do well, but I don't know how the second one did. To which leads us to the last major thing we did for the channel in October. We covered Gaim. Gaim was pretty fun covering. It was a pretty close call one too, and Gaim was like way more like laid back and such, to the point I actually got to finish filming it, I think, before October hit. However, the last 2 months weren't that stellar. So November kind of was something, but not really. Like, so I feel like I have to kind of put November and December together, because it's like November did somewhat get a themed week. It was just New Generation Stars stuff. Other than that, like, the New Generation Stars stuff, like the Decker New Generation Star stuff specifically, if I had to label it, yeah, those, I know it's kind of weak for those to be the last thing to be covered entirely. And then, like, again, December kind of followed the same thing of just like, oh, there's not really a focus. It's just whatever's left. Because it's just like, okay, like, here's a week of just roleplay weapons that I just never got around, or I finally got. So, like, again, the Ultra Crown Lance, for example, because I needed a way to cover that thing. And then the 2 Shadow Side weapons, just because I genuinely wanted them, because it was just like, they're the last things of Shadow Side that involved the Ogre that I needed. So, yeah. And then obviously, we're at the week that you're watching this. Obviously, we covered our annual Christmas items. Though, this year is the first time in a while I had to do this, but like, obviously, typically I try to put things out on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But for the schedule to work, I just kind of had to do it. I had to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just because it just worked a lot better. Though, the issue with that, obviously, is that potentially this is not going to come out on Friday because of how late I'm filming this, if you're curious. So, yeah, I'll admit, again, like I said, I'll apologize for these last 2 months not being as jam-packed in content, but it's just genuinely because a lot of the bigger stuff I originally wanted to do, I couldn't, because I just literally forgot to mention in November, what was originally supposed to be the big thing was Revise. We covered the Memorial Edition stuff, or the Memorial sets for Revise. Though those weren't supposed to be it, obviously, because I originally wanted... Now, this is not at the fault of, like... This is just me not remembering when the Glacius set got released. So, like, the thing is that I got the set in basically at the time I had to put the videos out, so it's just like, yeah, I couldn't do anything, so I had to, like, remove things. Because I originally wanted, I think what I said in the last, in the mid-year update, is that I wanted the Dead Man's sets to, like, sandwich the Memorial Revise sets and such, but I didn't get to do that because I didn't have the Dead Man set, and the Glacius set wasn't going to arrive on time, so I had to push forward and just do the Memorial sets. Then we moved on to the New Generation Star stuff. Because I forgot. It was that last week of October that I threw random stuff together just because I needed to fill that time in. Now, moving on to the second channel. I think the second channel went a lot more laid back, but I felt like I did a lot more that I was actually happy I finally got over with. The biggest thing, Quanya for Noun Dash Ryder. So I don't know how much I talked about it in the mid-year update, but Quanya was originally supposed to be in the first half of the year. It was supposed to be February and April, but I wanted the main February. I wasn't going to be able to make February just because I was behind on the main channel. Just because I was on a writer's block with Quanya, which made me not do things for the main channel. So, like, basically when the deadline was hitting, or the mental deadline was hitting, it was just like, okay, what do I choose on doing, Quanya or Saber? And I chose to do Saber. And then I knew that April wasn't going to work either because of things that were happening that wasn't going to allow me to work on much things that were going to take, like, more consuming things for May and such. So I decided and also it's just because spicy, which we have right here. But basically, I took a break when Spicy was getting promoted, or like coming out, because I did not want any part of it. Because it was just like, Quanya was already delayed because it was supposed to come out before it was supposed to come out before Spicy, or My World. So when I knew I wasn't going to be able to get it out before then, it was just like, alright, we'll let this sit, and then months later, I'll look into My World, and then I have to like try to fit it into what I already had established and such. And then I think what basically pushed me to finally get Quanya out was when Better Things got announced. Because I was like, no, I'm not allowing this thing to, like, hold me back. I'm gonna pursue forward and get this video out. So, again, what was originally supposed to be like a 2-month gap ended up becoming a month gap, which, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say fulfilling to get out, because I still can't spoil much. I can't still talk much about it because obviously, I guess this is technically a spoiler, but I mean, if you watch Wabs, you should already kind of figured this out. But year 2 is not done yet. Year 2, we have 2 more entries, but I'll get to that. Our second anniversary commemoration for Now Dash Ryder. Bubble. Bubble is one I've had in mind for like a while. I think I wanted to do Bubble for year 1, but it was just like, I don't know. Because like I didn't know what I would have wanted to do with Bubble. And like I just talked it out with my sister. We did have a lot of plans, or like we did have like a lot what you wanted to do, but it was just like, it wasn't a bad idea, but it was just kind of hard to try, like trying to like get that all down under 5 minutes. So it's just like, I think Bubble is kind of a missed opportunity, or like, there was like such a missed like angle it could have went through, because it's just like, I chose it to be the second anniversary topic just because of the fact I wanted to lean more into the parasocial relationship aspect of Bubble and like just expand on it more. But then like it became such a last minute addition because I had to just, because of the fact I was bogged with, oh, we have to talk about like just my experience with the service and such. So it's just like, I think it would have been better if we went through the angle of just immediate parasocialism or like immediately diving into the parasocial relationship. Because then I think it would have also helped a lot better to invoke it for like taking or like being released on Halloween Day and such. Other than that, I was going to say there wasn't much, but no, I actually uploaded 2 videos this month. Because November, we didn't do one. Or November, we didn't put out a video because I just didn't know what to put out. And then this month, I initially had no idea either. Because I will spoil this. There was supposed to be a noun this month, but the snow is not present for some reason here. So instead, I decided to put out footage of me playing the Warframe quest Whispers in the Walls because my brother wanted me to play that, and I was just like, yeah, I might as well record it. But then I recorded it wrong. I forgot to increase my settings on OBS to be 60 frames because it's only 30 frames because of the fact I do that to screen record my Windows, obviously, for Now and Dash Ryder or just other videos and such, because I don't need it to be 60 frames because then it won't run. But then I forgot to increase it for Warframe and it looks bad. But hey, you got a return of the camp place. And then this video was unexpected. I actually did another video of just me, like, just basic rambling. Again, it doesn't have an official name because it's just underneath my others playlist, but I did a video of me talking about Espa's melodic performance. People are watching it apparently, and last but not least, because I feel like it should be mentioned, the joint channel. So we actually did do more with it. I decided just for fun and to just, I don't know, I guess throw off people. I decided to sub 3 Japanese tracks of Red Velvet. I Tai Tai, Saranara, and Snap Snap. And the thing about those is that I actually did them in reverse. Snap Snap was first, then Saranara, and then I Tai Tai. But then I released them in that order. And then I was supposed to actually do... I was actually supposed to do lyric videos for Gaim's 10th anniversary. But then I just didn't think it was worth it. Just because it's like... I'll probably wait or just do one song. I don't know. It's just like, again, doing those types of videos is just like... I do them out of sarcasm, I guess. Or just like... Just out of like... I do them as a joke. Because I feel like there's a better word of describing it, but it's like, I don't do... Like, obviously, I have to be serious about like how I'm putting them together and such to get that authentic experience. But like other than that, it's just like obviously like I don't make them out of genuineness. I just make them out because of like, oh, this will be pretty neat, or just sure. But now we get to the fun part. Let's get into the 2024 plans. So I'll go backwards here, just because I'll go from least to greatest. Second channel. Okay. But as I said before, a year 2 of Now Dash Ryder isn't done. Because of the fact, again, like Wabs is already out. And you're probably wondering why Wabs watch it. But there are 2 more entries that are left. To which, again, the one that was supposed to be for this month, no, we got 3, actually. We got 3 more. It was supposed to be... The one for this month was supposed to be now. But I want it to snow. The second one is going to be... really odd. Because I honestly might have to start filming some back-to-back. Just for the sake of getting them out there. Because, yeah, this one was supposed to be in September. But because of the fact Kwanya got pushed, I eventually had to push the one that was supposed to be in that slot to next year. And the last one is the last one. Unless you watch Kwanya. However, as I've already actually announced already, we are going to have a year 3 of Now Dash Ryder. However, it's going to be... I want it to be different from year 2, because definitely, I will say the issue with year 2 is that it's way too structured. But I feel like that's all I can really say, because I can't talk about the entirety of year 2 without it being all released, so then, like, it can actually be understandable. But year 3, I do want to dial things back and just get it back to at least normal, and at least, not informative, but, like, actually... be like more authentic in a way. So as this was already announced back in July in one of my editing streams, the first topic for year 3 of Now Dash Ryder is indeed Geats. Obviously the thumbnail's not final. I'll touch it up whenever I can actually get back to it, but Geats is getting pushed further than when I did Revice, just because I just want to make sure that I do get to cover everything that gets put out. So like, for example, I'm basically waiting to see if creators from the Geats VSNX gets a music video. If it does, then that will get included and such. And I kind of want to get it out by the time that VSNX gets released physically, so yeah. Next up, obviously we do yearly video edit compilations for the beginning of the year or to kick off the new year and such. And this is actually the first year I actually got it done before the new year. So the first video of the second channel obviously will be the 2023 video edit compilation, to which happily I'm actually happy about. Because 2022's was just non-existent. Other than that though, I feel like that's all I can really address about the second channel, because again, I think second channel content I have to be a bit more secretive about, just because I don't want to just say something and then like for it just to fail. To Kaiser. So I kind of want to keep it light on announcements, but just for sure the biggest one for now to look forward to is the video edit compilation, and or I guess just compilations and potentially more random videos. And I will reiterate these again. I'm still in consideration of doing those mini views. Especially the second one is actually getting released worldwide on Netflix. So cool. Because I was initially going to rush that for this month, but I don't want to do that. Which obviously means we move on to the main channel. Now the main channel, again, I will say is interesting this year. Because I think I don't want to say concept, but my idea for the main channel this year is basically, let's finish whatever we started. So obviously, my goal for this year is to finish out series that we've either not touched on for more than 2 years, or just toy lines we've never like bothered finishing. So what I have in mind for the first 3 months of this channel in the new year are the following. January, we will be covering Yokai Watch Jam. For the sake of just doing it because, you know, nice buffer month. Next up in February would be Zenkaiger. So obviously, for the longest time, it was known that I had the Gear Tojo, but I just never covered it. So because of the fact I got the Dark Gears finally, we can finally touch up on Zenkaiger. But not just Zenkaiger, also a few, or I mean just one Dawn Brothers thing. But it's mostly Zenkaiger. March is pretty obvious. It's Blazar. You know, we can finally we can finally touch up on this toy line, obviously, just because for the sake of the movie. That's kind of, I guess, all of them actually have some relevance. Like, again, with Zenkaiger, it's just because King Ultra's ending. Or, you know, just might as well cover the gimmick for Sentai from the last 2 years. Blazar for the movie, there's no purpose for a Yokai Watch Jam. Like was said, it's just a buffer month. And then April, May, and June. So as for new series that are going to be covered besides Blazar, I'm going to have to cover Gotchard, even though I'm not collecting Gotchard, it's Zreiken. But, you know, just, it's kind of like the same thing like Yokai Watch Jam. It's like, we have it, we might as well use it so then we can actually, you know, cover a month of content for the channel. However, Gotchard is pretty complex, obviously, as we already know. It's basically kind of like a Revice, of where there's so much things that the Raikemi cards can be used in, and that's going to be heavily time consuming. So I'm just going to have to deal with that, and we still have yet to actually have the majority of the stuff as for this recording, to which, like, obviously, like, I'm not, like, obviously to Zorikin, it sounds like I'm basically rushing him, but it's like, and it might come off as that, but it's just like, you know, I think this is like the perfect time for us to like, or to him to like catch up and such, just for his content and such. The last series or new series I have in mind to cover is Q Ranger, because I basically have what I want out of Q Ranger besides Ho-Oh Voyager and Orion Butler. I personally don't want to get those two mechs just because space. Like, I know I technically need to make Q-Tamajin, and I need Orion Butler for his 2 Q-Tamas. But I really do not want to get them. So, Q Ranger, I will say, is going to be almost complete. The thing about Q Ranger, actually, is that I had plans on actually covering it. I actually started recording Q Ranger back in, like, 2020? In, like, summer of 2020. However, obviously, I got halfway through. I got through the first 2 quarters. And I was going to start covering Ho Soldier stuff. But then, obviously, I had the basement flood. And I dropped my hard drive. So I no longer have that footage. Or half of it. I have the Roost Waiters footage. And, like, I didn't even cover the mechs yet. I was covering the roleplay items and then the mechs. So I'm going to have to re-record Q Ranger like what I had to do with Ghost. Fun. And I think that's kind of what I can say right now. Obviously, a lot of these details will be more defined when we reach the midpoint of 2024, but that's kind of what I had in mind, which I think should round out, like, basically, again, the core content for next year. Like, obviously there's going to be side content and such, but I don't think I should talk about it now, just because it's, like, a bit confidential. But, like, when it happens, basically. So, again, like, I know this year's definitely weird, because I'm basically implying, for this year at least, that I'm not going to buy into any of the new lines that get released this year. Especially because it's like, at that point, it might be Sarkin that does that. But, again, I would like to do I would like to do more one-offs. But I won't say what they could be. And I have a lot more fun themed months that aren't just the obligatory, hey, let's get back to this thing kind of thing that we're going with this year and such. But yeah, as the camera wants to die, or the battery wants to die, I just want to kind of go over just, I guess, how grateful I am for my audience and viewers and such. I'm glad with, or I guess I'm happy with where I am channel-wise, and that people are accepting just the nonsense I spew out and such. And also just the fact that, like, I guess how accepting people were of just, or like how quickly people adjusted with the rebranding, because, like, again, uh, I wanted to rebrand, or I wanted to like rebrand myself, but like I didn't. I don't know. I kept going back and forth on it. Then I did it last minute, so I'm kind of glad that like it was received well, and I appreciate that and such. I apologize that obviously with the rebranding it made things harder to search for, because obviously you basically can no longer search me through Ryder because of how generic of a name it is, and I knew that from going into it, because like obviously, yeah, while it was a lot easier to look for me through Power Rider, it's just like again it was just not really a name that like I felt was worth deserving for myself and such. And I am very glad that like you know I guess essentially like I wouldn't necessarily say we had a lot more people coming on to the channel and such, but just the fact that you know people have been sticking around and such. Like this year we've gained up to I think 400 subscribers, so we did technically hit a like milestone of like 1,500 subscribers, to which again I won't necessarily like go all out on like milestones at this point anymore, because like it like yes they're neat, they're cool to hit, but it's just kind of like I think that's like people probably don't want that being dwelled on them and such, because they're just going to assume like they're kind of bloating about numbers or something like that. So that's why I don't try to mention it a lot and such, but I do appreciate it and such. But I'm not gonna be surprised if like obviously like I kind of figured that like obviously after reaching 1,000 obviously things were gonna dip or we're gonna drop, and I was right and such. But so I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm not gonna be surprised if there's no more growth, and like honestly, it's just like it's fine, just because like I've already achieved at least reaching 1,000 and such. Like basically, essentially next year, I'm not looking to like I guess achieve anything. Like I don't really I guess like I don't really necessarily have any goals for next year. It's just more just like I just kind of want to do this thing, or I want to try doing that thing, or just like I just want to try to finish up covering this thing and such. It just basically I think my mindset is that like we're approaching the 10th year, like we're almost like we're next year will be the 9th year. So it's just like, and we're basically getting ready for the 10th anniversary, which is kind of like it's kind of looming upon us. So it's just kind of like basically it's just like if we want the 10th anniversary to be like as grandiose as I want it to be, then like I feel like we're gonna have to definitely just like that. I think that's why I basically am just like, okay, let's try to finish up like what we haven't touched upon, so then with the 10th anniversary we can like I guess become grander and such. Overall, just thanks to everyone for this year, just for watching either my content or the streams or just interacting with me as a whole and such. Like I really do appreciate it. Obviously like everyone that does like support me with this venture within my family. Like just I appreciate them a lot. It might seem like I don't, which I kind of feel bad for that coming off, or for coming off like that, because like obviously I guess the way I say things kind of makes it sound like I I'm spiteful in some kind of meaning, but it's just like, I don't know. I guess I'm more, again, I guess I tend to like jab others just for, I don't know. It's probably not a good thing personally, but it's just like I do appreciate like just how far I've come. I still don't think I've evolved enough because you know, I've been using nearly the same stuff for a year, like basically since my second year, 2016. Like this is the same camera we've been using since then. And obviously I would like to be able to upgrade eventually, but it's just like, you know, when when is that going to be viable basically? And I'm gonna, obviously, I'll also just say, like, I guess next year is gonna be very experimental because, like, in terms of just, like, how videos are. Because, again, like what I said, or for sure, or I guess one of the things I'll definitely give away is color grading. I'm gonna be trying to actually do more with the color grading in videos than just slapping on a color balance. I'm gonna actually try to use the lumimetry color presets. Well, not presets, but like just actually doing things within lumimetry color, and then try to do more with, I guess, visual effects or like just assets or like graphic design, I guess, just because honestly, thanks to all of like the responses I got in my King Ultra Cosmic Fury edit, it really made me a lot more confident about actually doing things within like After Effects, aka just abusing fractal noise. To which I would like to learn how to utilize more effects, but it's just like I'm currently just basically just trying to do as much as I can with fractal noise. But yeah, like obviously, like I think it's also just because of the fact, again, this channel is monetized. I don't like the fact I have to do that, but it's just like it's more just like might as well make some side money and such. Like obviously, I can't pursue this as like a main career because it's just not possible at this point, especially with how oversaturated this landscape is and such. So it's just like it's just not possible. I'm just not in a position to be able to have this as like my main thing that makes money, because it's just like, honestly, I technically should be more grateful that I am making money off of it at least. So I am getting money in some way, but it's just not obviously sustainable and such. So basically, because of that, I feel like that's why I want to like not up the production, but up the like effort in the videos and such, because of the fact it's like, if I'm getting money out of this, then I should probably be doing more that actually is deserving, rather than just putting in like simple crossfades and like cuts and such, and like export it and like call it done and such. I think it's like when I actually sit down and like actually go through, like actually be more integral with how the video is done, I think that's more deserving of gaining money than like just very simplistic content, or like very simplistic I guess like a very simplistic like beat and such in a way. So I'm gonna be trying to like, I guess, do more within the video, but like not to the point that's like heavily complex. I'm still trying to find that balance of like either be like simple or like complex and such, basically, which I'll admit is probably like an issue because it's like I either oversell it or undersell it. I can't. I'm trying to find the in between and such. And just like overall, um, I'll definitely say, like, I guess internally, for the most part of the year, it's probably the happiest I've been making content because I personally wasn't for the last 2 years just because of how much I felt it was kind of, because it's still at this point with me like doing like or collecting Toku toys at least, it doesn't feel genuine anymore. It just feels more of like a chore and just more of like, okay, battery exhaust. Like, I think I kind of made it clear that it's just obviously it's just I think it's also to the extent I guess it's the fandom too, but it's kind of hard to like obviously it's been a lot more harder for me to actually like be more I guess more engaged with like my own content. Just because it's like again, we're getting to a point where it's just like I'm collecting high-end collectible items for shows I haven't even watched. And it's just like, I genuinely do think that is concerning to an extent, because it's just like, it doesn't make sense why I'm collecting a memorial item for a show I haven't even, like, actually sat down and watched a full episode on. Because it's just like, at that point, yeah, technically at that point, it's like, yeah, you're just wasting money. And especially because of the fact that, like, the memorial, we don't do proper videos on those stuff. We only do openings and such. So it's just like, those, like, basically the high-end items only get, like, a singular video and such. So it basically, that, it's not really necessarily worth it and such. And it's like, I do want to try to, like, cut down on, like, doing that excessively and such. Because, like, obviously, I'm okay with, like, getting, like, a high-end item of, like, from something obviously I watch, because, like, obviously I have an attachment to that. But it's just, like, again, like, all the constant memorial versions of transformation devices or, like, swords and such. It's just, like, I can't keep doing that, because it's just, like, it's kind of wasteful. Because at that point, the only way to justify it is whether or not it's actually a huge improvement from the main toy, or I just don't buy the main toy as a whole and just be, like, smart about it and such. But, like, that's not the case we do here. So it's just, like, obviously, again, it's not necessarily, like, my interest in Toku is, like, dwindling. Like, I still basically follow it for the toys and such, just for the sake of the videos. But, like, obviously, it's not really a good case, or I guess the music too, but it's like I'm not following it for, like, what it's actually for, the show. Because it's just like, I'm following the toy line, but I'm not following the show and such. And it's just, I think it's generally upsetting. Because it's just like, obviously, like, it's probably good that I'm not just 100% Toku, but it's like, that the issue is that the channel, that's how the channel is perceived, because basically it's on my behalf that I've not done a good enough job at just trying to make the channel just, like, whatever, or just basically what it embodies me. Because it's just like, well, obviously the Toku stuff is just what has the traction, unless you're a random short. But it's just like, obviously I would like to do more content that like I just think is like nonsensical and such. Because just like, obviously it's just like what it's like, you know, as I'm trying to like cut down on what series I buy into, obviously that cuts down on the content that could be covered on this channel. So it's just like, that's why I've been trying to like make up a bunch of other like things for this channel that could potentially, I don't know, like become a mainstay, or just like, you know, somehow actually be integrated within like the environment I guess we created and such. Because it's just like, I don't want it to have it to the extent of like the second channel where that's just complete like, okay, here's whatever and such, and still have a heavy focus on Toku, just because again of some videos I made in 2016 being re-uploaded there. But like that's why I tend to just do a lot more. I try to do a lot more for the second channel, but at this point now, which is I think kind of an issue of just like both channels are kind of equal now, or are kind of basically at equal. I guess I try to give them equal attention in quality, because I think prior, like at least in 2021 and 2022, I did not do that. I gave a lot more attention to the second channel, despite the fact that like that content wasn't, I'll say, as well. I mean, it was. I think those are stuff that could have been better at least. But I think like 2022 at least was a bit better. But like again, like this year, again, up to at least until November, it was probably like the happiest I was to do content. And I'll say the reason why that started dropping in like November and December, it was literally just because I literally had nothing to work on. So that kind of, I guess, upsetted me, of just like, I could be doing so much to like prepare for next year's stuff, and yet I didn't do that. And like, I'm like disappointed at myself for that and such. But I just hope the channel could essentially like can evolve in a point where I can like just, I guess, where I guess I'm me. Because I still feel like I'm in that like, I still feel that like I'm basically stuck as just like, oh, well, I'm just like piled in, and just like, oh, you're just one of those like reviewers and such that just make your videos really long and unnecessary. But it's like, I know people don't look at them like that and such. And like, I'm well aware of just like how I will become like rambly and such. And like, I'll basically just say things that are like unnecessary to like the core video and such. And like, I guess in a way I kind of don't like, I guess, how manufactured my stuff had become, because of just like, you know, like I've always have in mind of like, okay, this is how this month is going to be laid out. We like film them in blocks, like we film them for like at least 5 days max, 5 to 7, like at least like 5 days to like a week. And then we go edit them, and then like we cue them, and then like that's how the process is. And then like I at least have like a week off to like either plan the next thing or to work on something else. and such. And that's just how the cycle goes and such. Because it's just like, while it's monotonous, it's like, I feel like it at least keeps my mind busy. Because, like, I feel like when I don't do anything, or when I actually just, like, don't work on anything, it's just kind of depressing, I guess. Because it's like, again, I always think of, like, there's so much I could be doing right now. There's so much I could be preparing. It's like, there's just no point of downtime, because it's like, you can be working on this thing or this. There's so much you can do, and, like, you're not using your time well and such. And it's like, obviously, I'm not saying, like, obviously, like, I like my time of, like, I like to utilize my downtime, but there's a certain point of how much of that you can use. Because, like, everything else, because basically, if you rely on it too much, then you're not gonna, you're basically making yourself not focus on, like, what is, like, necessary and such. So it's just like, I would want to improve that for next year, and, like, probably take as little, like, basically, for, like, that week of thing, like, for like, a week of where, like, okay, I just finished putting together a batch of videos and queuing them. Like, I'm probably gonna have to minimize it from, like, a week to, like, just probably even 3 days, just so then, like, I don't end up, like, going too far and just not end up doing anything and such. And obviously the issue too is just, like, gaining materials. That's kind of, like, the other issue. Just, like, I want to do this, but I can't because I don't have X thing and such. I just wanted to, like, I guess, get myself back into the spirits of just, like, actually being excited or happy to engage with, you just make content for people, engage with my viewers and such, and just, just be social in general. But, yeah, I think that'll have to do with this end of the year update. I've been filming for, where's my phone? It's 3:08 because I had to take an hour off because the camera overheated. But obviously, as you've been witnessing, the batteries have been dying because I forgot to charge the other and such. I also forgot to address this Blunder because I was literally looking at the gears. So, earlier, obviously, I forgot to address that in August. I did one of the most stupidest decisions, which was an attempt to hold a giveaway. Yeah, that was a huge blunder. It was a Twitter giveaway in commemoration of Red Velvet's 9th anniversary. Because I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's wing it. Despite the fact the day before, I held a poll asking people if they were interested in me holding a giveaway. I got no responses. So, at last minute, I decided to do it anyway. I wasn't really getting much traction. I told Zrykin about it. And he told me, oh, just, post it on your YouTube community. And I was like, alright, fine, I'll do that. And that gained more traction. So, obviously, it wasn't fulfilled. Which is my fault, because technically we didn't reach the quota, because I said I needed at least 5 people. I think we were 1 short, and then, like, one person only did 1 and not the other. So, we technically didn't reach it, but I basically brushed it under the rug after a month. The original plan was for me to just run it for the rest of the year, but I was like, there's no point. So I just want to say I'm sorry for doing it, and I have hopefully I can relaunch it but actually be able to fulfill it, because I feel like that would have been the bigger issue of just not being able to fulfill sending the giveaways or the giveaway items to people, because of the fact that this time Zreiken's budget was really tight. So he wouldn't have been able to help me with it. So again, somehow whenever I'm able to, I will relaunch this giveaway, this gear giveaway, alongside a giveaway I've been building up for since the 5th anniversary, I think. Oops. Because I've been wanting to, I guess I can talk about it a bit. I've been wanting to do a big giveaway for, I originally wanted to do it for the 5th anniversary, but we might hold it off for the 10th anniversary. The thing about it, though, is that I don't want to officially announce it yet, because I want to try to figure out what big item I could throw in, because we technically don't have big items. We just have duplicates of things and such. So basically we kind of need something of like great value to like actually get people, I guess, get people engaged with it. But yeah, that's all I will say about that. Now I think that's the end of the video, because I knew that was one of the things I wanted to address. But let me ponder and figure out if there was anything else. No? I think that was everything I wanted to say. I just want to make sure that the camera didn't die. Speaking of this, like, because what annoys me the most about doing these videos is that I always tend to re-record. I always tend to do at least 2 recordings of these, and it's just bad. So for the sake of myself, and just to get this out as fast as possible, I'm gonna just do the one sitting, and not... I'll cut out what I need to cut out, and just hopefully, you know, everything I wanted to say comes out how I want it to be and such. But, yeah, so, you know, I'll just say an early Happy New Year. I hope, things go well, and just overall, I hope you are excited for what I have to bring for 2024. That'll have to do with this video once again. How many times have I said that already? This is Ryder, and I'll leave you people.